You and the sort of journey of your career. How often do you think about that textile factory that you used to work in when you're training for a big fight like this?
Sorry, can you repeat?
How often do you think about that textile factory you used to work at when you're training for big fights?
Sorry, can you just put the volume a little bit up? Sorry, man. Sorry, can you repeat now?
Sure. How often do you think about that textile factory you used to work at when you're training for big fights like this?
I'm not getting that.
The textile factory
The
that
textile.
you used to work at?
Sorry, textile?
The factory that you used to work at before you moved to Ireland.
There's a previous job.
Sorry. So you're talking about the job that I had before I moved to Ireland, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my man. Yeah, like it was pretty tough. I remember when we made the decision, me and my girlfriend moving to Ireland. We decided, but I needed to get a job to join some money so we could establish ourselves. So I decided to get a full-time job, and that was the job that I got it. And I'll tell you what, like it was tough. I remember the first few days that I had. I was coming back home, and I would cry like a baby. They're saying that I won't go back. And my mom helped me a lot. I remember she told me like, "Hey, Pedro, listen, this is temporary. You are giving one step back to give 4 steps forward. So just focus on your goals and think that this is only temporary. You're not doing this for good." And those words helped me a lot, because that was the words that I grabbed every single day that I was going to that job, to deal with that acids of the tissues, the heat, the smoke of the machines, everything, was just like in pure winter when outside was like -1, inside of the factory was like 40 degrees. So imagine in the summer in Portugal, outside heat sometimes 40 degrees. Inside the factory sometimes will be like 60, 70, 80, It was tough, but, that made me become mentally a stronger person, because they just made me drive more, to try like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm going to make it happen, And I'll tell you what, on the last day of that job, I was the happiest man in the world.
Well, at what point did you become a full-time fighter in Ireland? When did you quit the job and say, I'm a full-time fighter, I'm quitting this hospital job?
I became a full-time fighter 2 weeks before the Daniel Crawford fight, so my first Bellator fight. So I quit, and I remember I went to the gym, and the guys asked me, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to work." I was like, "I quit." And he asked me, Why did you quit? And I said, well, I quit because I don't want this idea in the back of my head, like, hey, Pedro, if you lose, you still have your job to pay your bills. And I didn't want that. I didn't want none of that kind of negative ideas on my head going to their fight, because that was at the time the fight of my life, the opportunity of my life, especially because it was one fight deal. So I needed to get that win. I remember going to 1 week before going to London, that I was living with one friend of mine, and I had to ask him, to borrow some money, because my bank account was at 0, and I still remember my words. I was like, "Hey, Luis, listen, can you borrow me some money, and I'll go out there. I'm gonna beat this guy, and I'll give you the money back." And that was exactly what I made happen. I beat one of the best prospects in Europe. I got myself a contract, and I become a full-time fighter.
And do you? What's the split between you living in Dublin and where you're from in Portugal?
I just try to work. I train in Ireland, and every time I have an opportunity, especially because I have this freedom, because I decide when I train, when I not train. So I can decide whenever I want to go to Portugal, and hopefully I have that freedom. And every time I can, I go pretty often to Portugal to see my family, to see my friends, to be on my country, And as long I'm free mentally to go to Portugal, because I established these obligations with myself, and I don't break them. And as long as I'm not breaking them, every time I can, I go to Portugal.
And last question for me: how did your gym, how did Straight Blast change when Conor left? And do you think it might change now that he is coming back?
He never really left. He kept training every day, so we never felt any difference because he never really left.
Okay, so there's no sort of like he's still around, like he's still like a presence at the gym, and he's somebody that you work with.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, is that how much of an impact has that had on your journey as a mixed martial artist?
Impact, or what impact?
An impact on your journey as a mixed martial artist, on your development as a fighter. Does it have an impact, or no?
But did he have what had an impact? Sorry.
Conor McGregor's presence.
Yeah, of course he has an impact, especially when he was training for the Cerrone fight. I could have a closer look, so I could learn some things just by looking at it, by the approach to some aspects. So you can learn from everything, from absolutely everything. You just have to have laser eyes, and if you want to learn with everything. And when I'm talking about a guy that made so much on this sport and achieved so much, that's a lot of things you can learn from him, and I learned a lot of stuff from him.
Steve?
All right, Pedro, thank you for the time today. You were scheduled to have this fight back in March before the pandemic changed everything, but it's been even longer than that since your last fight with Sam Cecilia. How has being laid off from fighting this long affected you mentally?
I'm going to tell you why. It affected me a lot mentally, but positive-wise, all this time, all these adversities, adversities for me, I always become them positives for me. Every time I have an adversity in my life, no matter how big it is, I make sure that I make it a positive in my life, in my career. And all these setbacks, all these postponed things, COVID, etc., I become a huge positive. And right now, because of all this, right now I'm 30,000 times a better fighter, a stronger fighter mentally, and a wise fighter, in terms of fight IQ. And I can tell you that that all is because of this adversity, that just made me keep training, keep work, keep focus, when we didn't have any sort of idea when we will be back and all that. So it had an effect, really, really positive, I'll tell you that.
When the selection show took place, I remember Pitbull made a very interesting comment. He said, Pedro has a big mouth and I want to shut him up. And yet we've seen nothing but respectful words from you. It doesn't seem like you have a big mouth. What did he mean by that?
I'll tell you what they mean by that. Patricio Pitbull likes to victimize himself. That's what he likes to do. Every time he has an opponent, or at least with my experience, is like he always say these things that I speak a lot, that I this and that. So I look the bad guy, and he's like the kind of the hero that comes, the humble hero that comes and puts the villain away. That's it. That's simply it. He's just a big baby that tried to victimize himself, so he gets the credits of I don't know what, but I don't care. What matters for me is this time we get done, and this time we get locked there. And after we get locked, there's no villains, no heroes, no nothing. There's only me in front of him.
All right. Have a great performance Thursday. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Pedro, how's it going?
How's it going?
Not too bad. I wanted to ask about these level 5 restrictions we've been in for the last few weeks here in Dublin. Have they affected your training at all? I spoke to Brad Katona about this. It seems like there are ways you get around it. Obviously, with the elite athlete program the Irish government allow. How did level 5 affect you?
I'll tell you this. I was extremely lucky. I was like extremely lucky because when the Irish government announced officially on the day that they will go to level 5, that was the exactly same day that my camp got over. So I was extremely lucky on that part, because when we got shut down, I was getting ready and packed to come to US. So yeah, like thank God, thank everything that I was extremely lucky on that part.
One of the great sporting cliches in everything, in soccer, in rugby, in fighting, is this guy is so hungry, this guy wants it more than the other guy. However, it has become part of your style of fighting. When you look at the Daniel Crawford fight, that was absolutely probably the reason why you ended up getting that win in that particular fight. How much has this last few months just focusing on Patricio Pitbull, the pain of losing out on the fight in March, how much has that fed that desire within you?
Oh, big time. You know, like, I consider myself a self-motivated guy because I have these goals on my head. I want to prove to the world that I'm the best in the world, and that's all I need. That's all I need to get up every single day, to go to work and give my absolutely best in every single session. And day after day, I'm more hungry and hungry. And absolutely, after I saw my first world belt opportunity gone away because of, you know, this COVID thing, it was frustrating. It just gave me this fire focus. Like, it's like every time someone said that I won't make it, every time someone said that I won't be able, that I'm not good enough, and their words just give me an extra fire to prove them wrong. So this was like kind of the contradict like energy, like, because I saw my opportunity going away from nowhere, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna make this a better thing than I will be fighting. If I will be fighting today, you know, this guy that's going to fight today is nothing comparing from the guy that's going to fight whenever I'll fight. So that was my focus, and that will give me fire. And I remember on the same day that fight got canceled, I was in the gym, or on the hotel gym, training like a madman, and that was my daily process, my daily basis. I kept my weight from then to now. I kept my diet. I kept training every single day, no matter the adversity, no matter how locked we were. I kept training every day, and I'll tell you what, like right now I'm 30, 40, 50,000 times a better fighter than I was in March.
Can I sneak one in just before we go about Peter Queally and Patricio Pitbull? Has Patricio missed his chance now? Are you going to make sure that Patricio goes up and defends that title against Peter when the crowds are allowed back in Dublin?
Hey, Patricio will go back to lightweight for sure. What Bellator is going to make after, I don't know. I don't know if Patricio will be good enough to give his brother a chance of fighting for a bacon belt, but just imagine 3 arena, main event, me defending my belt for the semifinals of World Grand Prix. I'll co-main event, Peter Queally against wherever Pitbull is for the lightweight belt, and who knows, Sinead Kavanagh for the featherweight belt against Chris Cyborg. That will be the card of the year, I think. Just saying.
That's beautiful.
All right, we'll go to Jay.
Hey, Pedro, welcome back. We talked a little today about, your early career, getting your starts. And, earlier in your career, did you ever dream of getting a title shot in a major promotion by the time you were 25?
Not only I dreamed, I saw it. Not exactly at 25. But yeah, at a young age, I saw like everything that I do, I make sure that I do it right, and I make sure that I'm improving, and make sure that I'm the best version week after week, month after month of myself. And I knew that if I keep just working hard and believe in myself, I just need one chance. And after one chance, things will go naturally. And the chance that I only needed was that one fight contract against Daniel Crawford. And I knew after that will be a matter of time, you know. And as soon as I got scheduled to fight on the World Grand Prix, I knew it will be only a matter of time. So yeah, I never thought about fighting exactly at 25, but I knew somewhere 24, 25, 26, I'll be world champion. And but listen, this is only my first step. This is only the beginning of greatness.
And with all the time off during the pandemic, I mean, that's a lot of time to be sitting thinking about one opponent, the $1 million on the line, the title. Did that almost become overwhelming at all? Did you have to do something to kind of take your mind off of it a little when you were restricted from training as much?
No, because I'm obsessed. I'm truly obsessed, and I never stopped training. I never was on lockdown times. I never was sitting around on my couch just getting fat like some guys that I know. I was training every single day. I was controlling my weight. I was on diet. I was like a professional, like I was in camp. I treated myself and my mind like I was in camp. And that was a difference maker why I say with the whole words in my mouth that I'm in the best shape of my life by thousands of years of distance. I'm absolutely in the best shape of my life. And that's because I treated myself on lockdown times like I was in camp. And that was the major difference.
All right. Well, thanks very much. Looking forward to Thursday.
Thank you. Me too.
Santiago?
Hi Pedro, boa tarde and greetings from Amsterdam. I was sitting cage side when you fought Derek Campos in Birmingham last year and you just ran through him. That fight was at lightweight. Now you are competing at featherweight. Which weight suits you best and which one are we going to see you the most in the future?
Anyweight, I'm the best in the world, period. I can fight, I'll prove, or I already proved that I can fight anywhere. But yeah, right now we are on the featherweight Grand Prix, so my obligation are at featherweight. I will become world champion at featherweight. We'll finish this tournament as featherweight champion, and then we'll see. I love to fight at lightweight. I feel great at lightweight. I can eat more. But yeah, we'll see. But featherweight or lightweight both suit me well. Of course, in both of them, I gain some and I lose some on both weights, but I perform the way that I want on both divisions.
Pedro, the Portuguese national football team is so stacked right now. Of course, there's the big boss, Cristiano Ronaldo, but now you also have Bruno Fernandes, João Felix, Diego Jota, Bernardo Silva, and the list goes on. Are you proud to see a team with so many quality players in Portugal right now?
Yeah, I think, and if you have a closer look, you see that all across the sports. You see in every single sport, you see a world champion in Portugal. I'll be honest with you. I'm not kidding. I lost accounts of the amount of European and world champions across all the sports there we have. I think for a small country, I think we just have warrior's heart, and that plays out in the sport. I think that's why we have so many world bests at a lot of things. For me, the best player in the world on football is Cristiano. The best beach football player is Major, Portuguese. Futsal is Ricardinho. And then the list goes on. But I'm incredibly proud. Anything that I see a Portuguese man get success, I'm extremely proud, and it warms my heart.
Obrigado, Pedro, and good luck on fight night.
Thank you.
All right, time for one or two more. We'll go to Simon.
Hey Pedro, Simon Romero from SVG Island here. I just want to know, what has the training been like down at SVG Island?
With all the COVID things, it went way better than I was expect. I got everyone that I need was there for me, and everything that I need was there. And of course we have to go around a lot of stuffs, but everything got done. Everything got done as we wanted, and the results were way better than we expected, to be honest. So yeah, we call good away.
And now that you're down in Ireland, don't you miss the Portuguese food at all, just a little bit?
Just no, it's not just a little bit. It's massively. That's the main thing that I miss about my country. Is my food. You know, Portuguese food. I'll tell you, like I tell this to all my Italian friends, French and everything. Like everyone speaks about the Italian food, the French food, and it's good. But compared to Portuguese, nah, not that close, you know. And people that have been there, they agree with me. And yeah, absolutely. The thing that I miss the most when I'm away is my country food, and that's why I always gain a few pounds when I go over there.
All right, Pedro, I appreciate the time and best of luck on Thursday, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, Matthew, last question.
Hey, Pedro, how you doing today, brother?
Fine.
Hey, my question is to you. You know, there's a lot of highs and there's a lot of lows in this game of mixed martial arts. You know, what motivates you more, coming off of a loss or coming off of a win?
Absolutely coming off with a loss. You know, the 11 wins that I have, soon to be 12, never had an impact so much in my improvements as my 3 losses. With no doubt, I am the fighter that I am today, and I am on the place that I am today because of my losses. My losses gave me what I needed, and only because I had their losses, I was able to see what was missing on me. You know, so with 100%, I can say that I will come back stronger from a loss than from a victory. Of course, I try to make each my victory kind of I always see my victories kind of on a loss way, because I never kind of enjoy my wins because I'm so focused on see my mistakes that I never really enjoy my victories. So I always look at my victories with kind of a losing eyes in this perspective. And so I can, be always fight after fight, different and way better fighter.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pedro. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.